corporate reliability directives, friend or foe. So you've laid out a great plan for 2020 with all of the action plans you want to drive to create that reliability culture and really drive results, make everybody feel proud, make yourself feel proud about what you accomplished. And then you get on a conference call with corporate. And corporate tells you what your priorities are for that year. Sound familiar? I actually got 2 emails on this topic, thus this video, so keep them coming. Good chance the corporate agenda, it's a good idea for the average plant, but whose plant is average? If you've got 20 plants, they're all in a different, on the continuum of reliability at a different place. They have different challenges, different resources, different problems, different priorities. Consequently, this corporate directive is just a distraction of your vital resources off your plan that will make an impact and that you have ownership in. So it's going to hurt your credibility and discourage the team. What are you to do? This is Joe with Lean-Driven Reliability, bridging the gap between best practices and the reality that you live in every day. Hopefully this one makes sense to you. Okay, so hey, we've set our 2020 action plan. We're going to take wrench time from 14% to 30% through kitting and staging. We're going to improve PDM from 2% to 20% through shifting of resources freed up from this kitting and staging here. Lubrication excellence. We had $1.5 million in failures last year that had a lubrication root cause. We're going to take that to 0 by applying the best practices. All of this is from observation, consensus from the leadership and their experiences they had, our KPIs, but intense observation. These are real opportunities in our plant. Then corporate comes in and said, hey, we're going to have a new standard for managing our storeroom, how we're doing spare parts, how we're managing that whole organization, how we're doing rebuilds, how we're doing PMs in the storeroom of our equipment. 100% compliance is required. That's not one of our top 3. That's not even one of the top 20 that we identified that we as a group whittled down with craft input to these 3. It's not even in the top 20. I'm not saying we're perfect, but it's not in the top 20. Why are we working on that? Sound familiar? You got to consider plants. A good friend of mine named Jeff stated this, and I think it makes sense. He probably 20 years ago said this to me. Plants are like a 15 amp battery. You can use those 15 amps any way you want. Unfortunately, about 12 to 13 of those amps are just day-to-day running, just operating in place. Daily expectations of people issues, equipment issues, production issues, quality issues. So you got 2 amps left. What are you going to spend them on? Do you spend them on a corporate directive, or do you spend them on what based on your experience and your collective observations have revealed? This is a problem. 99% of corporate directives, they miss the mark. And that's truly unfortunate because the corporate professionals are highly skilled. The problem is they don't know how to help. That's a general rule. Hopefully I didn't offend everybody, but as a general rule, they've got all this knowledge and they don't know how to help. I'm going to help out here. So, first of all, for you corporate listeners, one size does not fit all. That's an illusion. No plant has the same challenges, resources, problems. The only approach I've seen work is to train on observation, train on what is reality, understand the KPIs, all those metrics, go validate them out in the field through intense chalk circle observation over a period of days, and then help the plant lay out the skills that are needed in the proper order. Hey, like these 3 here, they make sense at this plant. These may not make sense at a sister plant, halfway across the United States. So observation and training on those critical skills for the best practices are what's needed from corporate. The sequence has to be determined from the plant. And that will drive their ownership. There's a change model called ADKAR. A lot of you have heard of that. Look that up. ADKAR, awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. If there's not awareness of a problem at a plant, like you're working on the storeroom, you missed number one. Desire, you missed number two. It's not on the plant priority list. So what's your chances of driving this culture change when you're missing the first two of the ADKAR model? You know, you're also missing ownership. Who owns reliability? Who owns that storeroom change? Corporate owns it, right? Okay, so that's off on the bad foot. You have a key role. It's facilitation of a reliability journey. It's not dictation of a reliability journey. Facilitation. The plant must own it. You know, this is going to fail, folks. It'll fail. It'll be a lot of energy, a lot of frustration, and it's going to fail. You know, I've got 33 years of doing this, and I couldn't count on, it's less than one hand, the number of corporate directives that have worked, that have been pushed down instead of facilitated. Plant leaders. You know, if corporate comes down with these stone tablets, comes down and say, thou shalt do that, what are some solutions to that? What can you do? Number one, hey, that's the job of the plant manager. You go to the plant manager with all your KPIs, all your observations, how you arrived at these things and what it's financially worth, analyze the corporate directive, and, you know, just make a decision. Say, plant manager, do your job. That is their job. I've had to do that a few times, several times, every month. Okay, so that's number one option. Number two option, invite corporate into your plant. Organize this observation Kaizen, review the metrics, have them go through this process with you up front best, and secondary, you know, if not, have them come back in and repeat it. Get them on your side. They are a very valuable resource, but they got to understand the sequence that makes sense at your plant to drive the results, to drive the culture change, get that momentum going at your plant. That's option number two, invite them in for the Kaizen. Item three, number three, and this is unusual. I don't hear anybody speak of this but me. Get a C. You know, I can give a long background on where I came up with this, but in the U.S. academic system, there's a grading scale of A, B, C, D, F, okay? Problem at most plants is they want to get an A on everything. And to get an A on this storeroom change, it may take two resources full time, okay? What's it take to get a B? Well, one resource full time. What's it take to get a C? Well, we could probably get a C. If we put 8 hours into this, we could probably get a C. Get a C, okay? Drive these things and get a C or even a D, get a passing grade. Get it, you know, you don't want to be on the bad list, the naughty list, but how do you get a C, go through the motions and not do excellent? Now, this is going to be harder for the individuals at the plant to do than corporate, because getting a C when you're surrounding yourself by people that are perfectionists sometimes is hard to do. Getting a C, that's your third option to do. Hey, folks, start your reliability journey. This stuff isn't that hard. I can help out in any way. Send me an email, send me a reply to this message, hit like and subscribe. Hey, and if I can ask you to do one thing today, copy and paste this into a text to a friend. Thank you.